everyone, today we will take a virtual tour around 7 countries and get acquainted with their representatives and cultures.
Namaste, my name is Ghazal Rana and I am a soon-to-be 20-year-old studying general medicine in Petragu, and currently I am in 3rd year. Well, I come from the beautiful land of rich diversity and cultural heritage. Yes, you guessed it right, I am from Bharat, India. My theory in life is to take on all the experiences the world has to offer, and I'm never shying away from trying something new, and hence I love to explore different kinds of activities and traditions. Well, I'm a medical student and you can tell me that I breathe only books, but that's not true. I love to explore my creative side through various forms of art. Well, mostly it's dancing because I love to express my culture and showcase my traditions to people through the form of dance. Well, I also sing, I write, and my newfound hobby is vlogging. India, Bharat, with an exceeding population of 1.4 million eligible voters electing for elections every year, we have a population exceeding 1.4 billion people, surpassing the China. And currently, it is a multitude and home for various religions and more than 1,600 languages. Now, India has a very rich cultural heritage and its geography varies around. It can be tropical weather in the south to temperate in the north, with lush green tropical forests in the south and Thar desert in the Rajasthan. We also have cold deserts in the north and beautiful beaches along the coastline. Well, India is the largest democracy in the world, as known by you all. And we love to celebrate all kinds of festivals, especially Diwali, which is celebrated with great enthusiasm all across the country. Diwali is also known as the Festival of Lights, representing the victory of good over the evil. Now, India is a home to a lot of different ancient architectures and temples. And as you guys may know about Taj Mahal, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world, and it is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. India is also home to one of the most ancient and oldest civilization, the Nalanda University, which was built in the 5th century. And it is one of the most popular universities for the ancient students all across the globe. Now, Indian people are firm believer of 2 things, Vasudeva Kutumbakam and Atiti Devo Bhava, which literally translates from Sanskrit that the world is one family and the guests are equivalent to God. Now, studying abroad was a very significant decision that I took when I was almost 16 or 17. And it came in with a lot of motivations and aspirations of my younger self. I had always dreamed of studying abroad since my childhood, and this dream of becoming a surgeon I share with my mum and my grandmom. Now, as to why I chose Russia, because Russia has a strong reputation for medical programs in English, which is known worldwide all across the globe. It emphasizes on practical and theoretical knowledge, and it also emphasizes on researching, which aligned with my goals and my aspirations. And the reason as to why I chose Petrozavodsk State University, because they conduct the program of general medicine in English, and it aligned perfectly with my professional goals and career requirements. They focus more on practical and they give equal importance to theoretical knowledge and allows us to have a world-on experience as a doctor and how would you perform things as a doctor. And the cherry on the cake is the location of Petrozavodsk near Lake Onega, and it provides abundance of nature and very good atmosphere for studies, and they also have a lot of programs for an international curriculum. And it allows us to meet with a lot of international students, providing an international atmosphere where you can not just be a book nerd, but you can also broaden up your perspective and meet new people every time. We have various different clubs, for example, so SEDI, Mir, Ruski Club, and they all help us to adapt in an international environment and enjoy the activities in the beautiful nature of Lake Onega. Now I remember when I first landed in Moscow, all I could see and all I could feel, my first impression was Russia was that it is cold. And by cold, I mean it's freezing cold. All I could see was snow all around on the streets, on the buildings. And for one moment, I was confused that if I'm living in a cloud or is there snow all around me. However, the people of Russia, the locals were very warm and very kind. They were so helpful. I remember that I had 3 huge bags of 25 kgs each, and it was very difficult for me to carry them and travel with them. But these good gentleman, he was really kind to help me, and he helped me all along through the train. Now, I have had multiple occasions where the local people would come and approach me and were so curious and intrigued about my origin, about my ethnicity, about my country. And when they knew that I was from India, they would get so happy and get even more welcoming and warm. And they would tell me information they knew about India. For example, a famous Bollywood star or a famous Indian movie, or they may even name some cities and some actors in general, and I would get really happy. And coming to Russia was with a sense of excitement and adventure, because it was the first time that I was actually traveling abroad, especially for education, and it was more of like an adventure, and it was actually a really nice experience meeting with people. And Russia is cold. Now, Russia and India are very two different countries in various aspects. The first off is weather. While Russia is a country which experiences mostly cold weather, particularly harsh winter conditions for 10 months in a year, and experience only, I think, a couple of months of summers. Whereas in India, we have 5 different distinct seasons with a particular distinct monsoon season. India has a more of diverse weather, where we have tropical weather in the south and it's more temperate in the north. Secondly, in Russia, I think Russian is the most popular and the official language of Russia, and English is not very popular with the locals. It's not very common that you hear people speaking in English. But in India, even though we have more than 1600 different languages, we have 22 official languages, out of which Hindi and English is the most widely spoken languages in India. However, we don't have any national language in India. We just have 2 official languages, Hindi and English. In Russia, I have always encountered that the interactions are always more formal, in a more polite way, in a formal occasion, especially in a professional interaction. Whereas in India, it's more of like warm and welcoming, and people really value their family bonds. Now, cuisine has to be one of the top difference between Russia and India, because in Russia, I have encountered that the meals are fairly simple. For example, lightly or very minimally seasoned meat along with some bread, eggs, or some rice along with some soup. Whereas in India, flavors and spices play a major role. In India, you will always encounter food with a lot of different spices and different varieties, and mostly it's easy for you to find vegetarian and vegan recipes and dishes in India, because most of the people in India are vegetarian and vegan, whereas it was difficult for me to find vegetarian dishes in Russia. Now, all these differences account for different identities, and these are the key points which makes these two countries different. As an 18-year-old who has never stepped outside of a home, traveling to a new country, I did found some most intriguing and surprising facts about Russia. First, the tea or the chai. Now, chai is very popular in Russia, and it is comparatively safe to say that chai, as much as Russian people love, Indian people love with the bottom of their heart. I have found many occasions where I have seen myself bonding over people with a cup of tea. And chai is, I think, one of the most prominent symbols of India and Russia. Now, I've seen that Russian people are really obsessed with their berries and flowers. Whether it's an occasion, it's a birthday, or if there's anything special to celebrate, Russian people love to celebrate anything and everything with flowers. However, in India, it is quite the same, but instead of flowers, we prefer sweets. However, the flowers in India are used and confined more towards decoration. We love to celebrate anything and everything with sweets, especially Indian sweets. Now, I know I studied in my school that Russia is a really big and vast country and they have 11 different time zones, whereas in India, we have only one. Now, studying something and actually experiencing these different time zones were really interesting and surprising for me. And also the concept of white nights, Belaya Noche, in summers and dark days during winters was quite a new and fascinating thing for me. Now, the more I tried Russian cuisine, the more I realized that the Russian cuisine is very carefully, systematically designed in order, keeping in mind the weather the people face. Now, I have found most of the dishes in Russian cuisine involves meat, chicken, eggs, bread, and including a lot of fat, oil, butter, along with rich aromatics and hot dishes, because people need to face really harsh and cold climate. Now, I've tried quite a few of dishes in Russia. The first one was borscht with beetroot. I couldn't try the original one because of cultural issues, but I really liked it, and it was a mix of sour, sweet, and savory, and it really appealed my taste buds. I also tried the kalitka, which is made with potatoes, and I really enjoyed it. And if I had to talk about my most favorite, I would say that it's blini, the Russian pancake served with sweet condensed milk along with some strawberries and bananas. And I have a sweet tooth, and I think blini stands out to me because of its simplicity. Now, if I have to tell you about Indian dishes and the popular traditional dishes found in India, I could go on for hours. But today I have shortlisted a few, and here it goes. Number one, you need to try biryani. Biryani is a traditional dish made up of rice along with some sort of meat, chicken, fish, or if there's vegetarian, you can even have cottage cheese or vegetables. And it is made with rich aromatic fragrances, and each state in India has its own unique version and take on it. Secondly, you can also try samosa, which is popular real across the country. It is a savory pastry which is fried and contains spicy potatoes along with some peas, and people really enjoy it with a cup of tea. Third, you should try golgappa / pani puri / puchka. Now, this dish has n number of names, but all the people, everybody loves it the same way. It's a ball of puri. It's like a ball in which you fill some masala, some spices, and it's like a burst of flavors in your mouth with tamarind water. And last but not the least, I know that you guys would all love the Indian chai or the Indian tea. Now, unlike Russia, Indian tea is made up of with some spices and some milk, but I'm sure you guys would love it. Now, handling day-to-day tasks was especially difficult for me, especially as a foreigner in a new country. But thankfully, I had some Russian people around me who made sure that I always feel safe and I always feel at home. Now, it was very important for me to learn some basic essential phrases, for example, greetings and how to ask for help in case I needed it. And just in case, I always kept my translator app in my phone always ready in order to make sure that the conversation was more convenient and efficient across the other person. I always kept a small little diary at the beginning when I came here, which included all the important information and documents and important phone numbers just in case I needed it. Now, when you come to a completely new different place, especially in a new different country, you need to know about the key places in case of, God forbid not, but emergency situations. For example, hospital, police station, and embassy. Now, initially, I was a bit hesitant to ask the local people for help, but they have proved me wrong. They have always helped me so much, and they were always patient and kind enough to help me and listen to me. Even though I made some mistakes in Russian, but they were always kind to be patient, and they always heard me out. And I'm really thankful for such people around me. Absolutely. I think studying abroad, maybe Russia or any other country, is a very important decision. And you need to have a clear mind and clarity about what you aspire, your dreams and aspirations, in terms of your personal growth, personal achievement, professional growth, career goals, or the personality you desire to be. Now, what I suggest is that I believe that 20s, the age group of 20s, is the period where you can experience exponential growth, and this is the time where you learn the most. And everybody, each youngster, should try to utilize this time as much as possible. I always advise my fellow peers and everybody that people should be resilient, and resilient enough to put in hard work, resilient enough to be the best version of themselves, resilient enough to be passionate about things they love to do. Because I believe that the only limit in your life is your mind. Conquer it, and the universe is yours. Thank you so much for your attention. Namaste.